Hello everyone, this is Crypto BitLaw back with another blockchain legal brief, and today we're going to cover how crypto lender BlockFi is set to pay a $100 million settlement with the SEC. And as always, before we dive in, if you enjoy this content, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and if you want to, you can follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @CryptoBitLaw. So with that said, let's dive right in and read the news. So as we can see here, Bloomberg reports that crypto lender BlockFi is set to pay $100 million in a settlement with the SEC and the states. The settlement with the SEC could come as soon as next week, and since it's reported last week, this settlement could actually come at some point this week. They also say that BlockFi faces probes into selling unregistered securities. The report states that BlockFi Incorporated is poised to pay $100 million to settle allegations from the Securities and Exchange Commission and state regulators that it illegally offered a product that pays customers high interest rates to lend out their digital tokens, according to people familiar with the matter. The penalties, which could be announced as soon as next week, so remember this week, are among the toughest levied on a cryptocurrency firm amid a U.S. clampdown on the industry. The SEC and state investigators have been probing whether the accounts offered by BlockFi are akin to securities that should be registered with regulators. Scrutiny has been mounting on crypto lenders, which have attracted tens of billions of dollars in deposits by promising yields that far exceed those available through traditional savings accounts. As part of its agreement with regulators, BlockFi will no longer be able to open new interest-yielding accounts for most Americans. Quote, "We have been in productive and ongoing dialogue with regulators at the federal and state level. We do not comment on market rumors," said BlockFi spokesperson Madeline McHugh. She also continued that we can confirm that clients' assets are safeguarded on the BlockFi platform, and BlockFi interest accounts will continue to earn crypto interest as they always have. And the SEC, they declined to comment. SEC Chair Gary Gensler has been sounding the alarm on fast-growing crypto firms, arguing that some are offering financial services without adhering to benchmark investor protection rules that banks, brokers, and other long-established entities have long had to comply with. BlockFi, based in Jersey City, New Jersey, will pay a $50 million fine to the SEC and another $50 million to various states, so the people who asked not to be named because the deliberations are private. It's among several companies, including Celsius Network and Gemini Trust Company, that have become wildly popular with retail investors for paying high yields that sometimes exceed 10%. Securities regulators from several states last year brought enforcement actions against BlockFi and Celsius over the accounts, arguing that the companies were selling unregistered securities with undisclosed risks. The SEC is also scrutinizing Celsius, Gemini, Voyager Digital over similar issues, Bloomberg reported in January. At the time, a Gemini spokeswoman said the company was cooperating with an industry-wide inquiry into crypto yield products. Celsius said that it was working with regulators to, quote, operate in full compliance with the law, and a Voyager spokesperson said it was routine to be in ongoing communications with watchdogs. The SEC hasn't accused any of the companies of wrongdoing. The SEC has separately warned Coinbase Global Inc., the biggest U.S. crypto exchange, that it would sue the company if it moved forward with a lending product, prompting the company to suspend the product in September. Executives at BlockFi said that they were able to pay such high yields to customers because institutional investors will pay them even more to borrow the deposits. Unlike bank accounts, the crypto interest accounts aren't federally insured. Earlier this year, BlockFi said its Bermuda-based subsidiary would handle foreign clients. It also introduced a non-interest paying crypto wallet and a new interest product for accounts with at least $3 million in cryptocurrencies. So, based on this, my main takeaway is that it was virtually inevitable that the SEC would come after these CeFi lending platforms like Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, for the fact that they are engaging in securities-like practices without getting any sort of regulation or without a higher level of transparency. Now, the risk to consumer comes in the form that, like they said right here, they're able to pay these high yields because they end up taking the money and they do what's called rehypothecation. These companies take the money that you deposit with them, and then they take those deposits and then engage in riskier yield-seeking investments like yield farming. So let's say you deposit money into BlockFi or Celsius. Those companies will then take that money that you deposited, and then they'll try to take it and turn around and, let's say, yield farm with it and try to get 30%. and then they'll pay you 10% and then pocket that 20% difference. And sometimes, I know it happened recently with Celsius, the projects that they invest in could end up going belly up. The contract can get exploited and they could lose money like that, or a project could get rug, and the next thing you know, they're out tens of millions of dollars. And there's not only that level of risk that they're not totally transparent in and they don't really spell out to their investment clients, there's also the risk that there could be a proverbial bank run on these institutions where everybody kind of catches on at once and they're like, hey, there is a risk that these companies could get shut down and they're going to suspend withdrawals, and then everybody tries to withdraw their money at once. And surprise, surprise, there's not enough assets in their reserves in order to pay everybody out. And so essentially at that point, these platforms go belly up. So, the rehypothecation issue, that's a big concern. The bank run issue, that's another concern. As they mentioned here, the whole Coinbase lend issue, where Coinbase actually sought out advisement or an opinion from the SEC. They actually sent them a letter and like, hey, we're going to try to open this lending platform a la BlockFi or Celsius where clients can deposit funds with us and then we will pay them high yield based on the funds that they deposited. And Coinbase was going to do the same thing that these others are doing and engage in rehypothecation with those funds. And then the SEC flat out told them, like, hey, if you do this, we will sue you. So naturally, they put an end to that pretty quickly. But all things considered, the way I've always been hesitant to put my money in these sorts of CeFi lending platforms. My theory is that it's that old adage, if something seems too good to be true, more often than not, it usually is. To get this level of yield, just kind of, in this day and age, when banks are paying, fractions of a percent, to be able to just deposit stablecoins on these platforms and they get 10%, it almost seems like it's too good to be true. I would rather put my money in the market in something like Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever other digital asset, and then actually hold custody of those keys. It's that old adage in crypto: not your keys, not your coins, not your keys, not your crypto. I like taking possession of my assets. I like holding the keys, especially with something like Bitcoin. I would never just willingly give my Bitcoin keys or my Bitcoin to someone else and then have to ask them, please, pretty please, can I have it back? When the stuff hits the fan. So then you have all of that counterparty risk, and it's just not worth it for me. So all things considered, I think that this is just a continuation of this pattern where we're going to see more regulation on these CeFi entities. Ultimately, I think that they are going to have to register with the SEC to get some sort of regulatory licensure or compliance based on some sort of framework that is established by the SEC. So I think that that's in the cards. But all in all, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. As always, if you liked it, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And let us know down in the comments what you think. And if you have any ideas for any types of videos or long-form content or legal issues you'd like to cover, please let us know. We'd like to know your thoughts and then, kind of address what you guys want us to cover. So with that said, thanks again for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.